So we've covered the introduction, okay, which is the introduction to distribution networks, why they're super important and how you can benefit from them. We've looked at the different business types that you can attribute a distribution network to. The fact is you can use every single one, and you can find something within those different business types to actually execute against. We've looked at the Boston Matrix, the one of two diagrams that I've actually pulled from my college experience that I'm going to present to you. Now, listen, I promise you, that is not filler material. It's super relevant. I want you to, if you didn't, or if you skipped over the Boston Matrix, go back to it. It's really how you qualify different opportunities within your own business or a business that you're going to start in terms of how you can expect to achieve results in your chosen market. Okay, so this now is, I guess, an extension to that, and I really want to focus on this. It's going to make sense right now. It's a diagram which is how you can capitalize on certain trends. Okay, you've got one axis here which is popularity, and the other one is time, and it's really looking at 4 different product or service types. Okay, now we've got fads over here. We've got stable markets. It could be something that always sells, like pots and pans, knives and forks, that everyone needs them, they keep buying them. You've got growth markets and you've got trends. Okay. Now, people think fads are bad. I love fads. I love fads because you know what happens with a fad? You can make a lot of money really quickly. Once it stops becoming once people start losing interest in it, well, you've made your money. Who cares? Okay. I love fads. And I'm going to explain to you why that's super relevant to distribution networks. Okay. When you have a distribution network in play, you've spent a lot of time. You want to have that cash cow or that growth market opportunity. So that would be growing market or a stable market. That's what you want to really build your business against. Okay. Because that's what's going to give you access to the most distribution partners or channel partners or network that you can expect to retain over a long period of time. If they're constantly selling something that over a long period of time is consistently growing, over a long period of time is consistently stable, and there's enough of a market growth out there for them, you're going to benefit by having more and more distribution partners working with you, which of course gives you access to more and more different territories around the world. You could be focusing on just one country, but then you're getting access to more of that country. It's really important to take that into consideration, including trends. I mean, trends don't last as long because they could run out of being that trend. But again, you could benefit from being in a trend as well. An example of that was when I was selling co-working spaces as a real estate investment model, which actually didn't go that well for me in the end. But that was a trend. That was something that was new to the corporate office space. It was, corporate office space was simply buy a building, lease the office space. Now, co-working was the new, cool, hip way of designing office infrastructure to be open to the hot desk people, the people who wanted to just work in a more, I guess, trendy way. They wanted to be able to work in a more open format where they could collaborate with each other. They wanted free coffee. They wanted to have, free good coffee. I don't know if office spaces offer coffee, but this is free good coffee. They even had beer on tap in some of these places, exposed brick walls. They were designed to be cool, for people to get involved with. That was a trend. WeWork was our biggest competitor. So Google them if you don't know what I'm talking about. Co-working was the biggest, most coolest thing that took over for the last 4 years. And we're talking around 2015 through 2018 it grew like crazy. That's a trend. Fads. Fads are great if you have a distribution network in play, because what you can do with a fad is if you have people that are constantly selling for you and you have a hybrid product to the thing that you're already selling, you can dump that on your distribution network and you can profit very, very quickly. So consider trends, consider what market you're going to be in, and consider how many people you can have working for you. It's kind of like when you're starting a business, okay? And you have 3 or 4 people working for you. Maybe you're paying them minimum wage. You can't expect to achieve a lot out of them except your core product or service. Okay. But over time, if you end up having 50, 60, 100, 200 plus staff members, you've got this product that's selling really well and you have this idea for a new one. You think, hey, you know what? I'm going to portion off a bunch of these guys that are working for me and I'm going to give this product or service to them. Can you go ahead and sell that and sell it to our existing clients? You have an immediate success. Maybe it sells really well for a little bit and drops off after a while. Whatever the case, you still made some money off it, right? That's an example of attributing a fad into what you could consider a trend or a growing or a stable market. Okay. So think of that in practical terms, apply that to your own business, look at where you can benefit from any of these, and look at where you should be focusing as far as your business. And this really does go back to that Boston matrix. You want to make sure that you're not working with what we call a dog. Okay. If there's no market share, if there's no market growth, you want to let that go. Cut your losses. Stop flogging a dead horse. Let it go. Focus on something that can actually work for you. And also, if you are in a startup situation, it's always safe to go with a stable market, but it's also very difficult to gain momentum. A lot of people come to me and they say, hey, I want to start an advertising agency. How can I use a distribution network to build my advertising agency up? Yeah, you can totally do it. People will work with you. They will help you gain your customers. If you've got a good product, if you've got a good service, you've got some reputable clients, or you can do one particular thing in a way that other people can't obviously do, or they can't do in an immediate fashion because you've got some nifty tricks that you attribute to your process. Yeah, you can definitely get people to help you, but it's a stable market. It's advertising. It's not a growth market unless you're suddenly tapping into the next or latest and greatest social media platform that everyone wants to learn how to tap into. Then it can switch, but bear that in mind. Think critically about your own business, what you're part of or what you're intending to build. Because what you want to do is make sure that you're in the safest place possible to be able to attract, encourage, and excite other people to work with you. Okay, this is all going to make sense. I'm just prepping you. I'm preparing your mind for what's coming next. I'll see you in the next section.